Hello, everybody. I'm ItsKim. Welcome to the Wednesday stream. And we are continuing our coverage of Britney's new book that is scheduled to drop next week called The Woman in Me. If you have never seen me before, hi, my name is It's Kim. I am a pop culture commentator. You may have seen me from around the internet. This is where I live. This is my channel, and these are the streams that I do where I talk about stories that are important to me and I give my opinion and I try to go below the headline. I try to give context. This is a live interactive show. So if you're watching on the replay, please be advised that part of what I do is I interact with my audience. I'll do my best to share that information with you. If you are watching on the replay and you want to skip to a specific part, there will be timestamps in the pinned comment on this video. So you are welcome to jump around to where you'd like to go, or you're welcome to watch this whole thing in full because it's going to be a good time. We normally go through different headlines that I am interested in. Then we kind of have a halftime where we talk about stuff. And then we have a segment near the end of the stream, which is called What the What, where we look at something on the internet that is interesting, funny, controversial, crazy. And we all have fun with that before just an ending discussion. We just kind of hang out and then the stream normally ends. So that's the way that this stream is going to go. I will let you guys know for the What today, we have another saga. Producer Sister has blessed us with a saga, and I've been told it's quite epic. It's a bit of a slow burn apparently at the beginning, but we will get there and it will be lots of fun. So I'm excited to do that. Um I am. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I see you guys all piling in, which is amazing. Thank you so much. I would encourage you guys to please like this stream. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so or sharing this video. I am on a quest right now to get to 30,000 subscribers, and I would love for you to be a part of that journey with me. Also, if you do really like my content, please consider joining my membership program, which I call Space Angels. It's our community. I would love for you to be a part of it. We also tend to have a lot of memberships gifted from time to time. Speaking of, thank you so much to Shauna and General Scott. Shauna giving 10 memberships and General Scott giving 5, bringing our gifted memberships for this stream already to 15. There's lots of behind the scenes content for you to enjoy if you do choose to join membership, as well as other perks like you get the cool little emoji thingy by your name, and there's other emojis you can use in the chat as well that are custom to Space Angels only. It is a low price. I have everybody on the same tier. So if that's something you're interested in, please consider doing so. And if it's not something that you're able to do at this time, don't worry about it. Please make sure you allow gifts on your account because chances are you will be one of the lucky people who gets a gifted membership. So I think that covers everything. Oh my goodness. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I have been preparing for this stream since last night. I literally got off stream with you guys yesterday, took some time to have dinner, and then I was back at it in my head again, watching timeline videos, trying to remind myself of different things throughout Britney's history so that I can put things in context properly. And then I was up this morning and I was digging because my goodness, is the Britney verse going crazy, 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 crazy. So, what I will say on this stream today, we're going to be talking about the new revelation, I guess, if we want to call it that, that, oh my gosh, surprises of all of eternity, Justin Timberlake cheated on Britney Spears? Full disclosure, I have been a Britney fan for a very long time, as many of you know. I have heard whispers for a long time. I have heard whispers that don't have anything to do with what I'm seeing in the press today. But I don't talk about rumors that I cannot back up with any information whatsoever. So I'm not getting into that tea, but my goodness. It is a good day for truth to just continue to start coming out and for Britney to have her day of people understanding her life, some of the things that she's been through, and finally having some freaking empathy for this incredible woman and everything that she has been through. So here we go with this. Before I go any further, I want to make this abundantly clear today that this stream is going to include a lot of speculation and opinion on my part. This should not be taken as fact. I'm going to show you guys why I've come to these conclusions, and you are free free to make an opinion of your own. And if you have questions about where I've gotten that information, I have a doc in the description below this video on Google that shows you all the links of stuff that I am talking about. All credit is given in there. You can go and take a look at that if you are so curious. I try not to just um, come up with anything, so it's difficult. Um, I do also want to say there's a lot of things I would love to share with you guys in more depth. However, I have to follow the YouTube rules and guidelines, the community guidelines. And there's also a lot of people right now that, they're sending out copyright hits and claims and things like that. And I got to be careful because I don't want to lose my channel. So, YouTube human reviewer, as we talk about these controversial issues and as I attempt to explain my opinion and use things for fair use purposes, please just know.
I'm trying.
Okay, so we're going to do the best that we can. Let's get on with it. Before we get into the main topic as far as Justin Timberlake potentially cheating on Britney, we have to talk about the bombshell that dropped yesterday about Britney and Justin potentially having a child together and that the pregnancy was ended. And again, YouTube human reviewer, I'm doing my best to use respectful language and not to violate your terms and guidelines. So, since that has happened, um, the fan theories have gone nuts, particularly regarding the context of Britney's song "Every Time." And I feel like right now it is completely inescapable. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but the problem was, as I started looking at it, I couldn't ignore it anymore. Um, the song "Every Time" is off of Britney's fourth record, In the Zone. It is the closing track of the standard tracks before like remixes and stuff like that. And Britney has always said that the song is a direct response to Cry Me a River. Interesting. So everybody has always assumed that it is her answer to Justin accusing her of cheating. Now, with this new information, people are looking at it with a little bit of different eyes, and I completely understand why. Now, I thought some of this stuff was a little bit over the top, for lack of a better term, because I think sometimes people look at music videos and they try to see something that's there that isn't there. Sometimes songs are just songs. Sometimes music videos, they're like they have a write up for the music video, the director goes for it, they do their own thing, and there it is. And sometimes people are trying to find something that has a hidden message that maybe actually does not exist. I cannot say in this case that I how do I word this? I would not be surprised if there is a message in here somewhere, and I'm going to show you guys a couple of things because originally I was thinking this is all just kind of dramatic. And this morning, as I did my research, I can't say that anymore. I can't say that anymore because there comes a point where it's like if it looks like a duck, if it quacks like a duck, moves like a duck, maybe we're looking at a duck. So to start, I want to show you guys something, and I've had to mute this and I hope you will understand why. So what I have here, and I'm going to move it off of that part in a second. Everything is blurred, YouTube, by the way. I got this off of YouTube, so you can't be like, this is against community guidelines because it's here. What I want to show you is two clips. One is of the official video version of Every Time. And this is the official video for the song that came out years ago. And then after that, we're going to go to a second clip which is the uncut music video, the alternate shot, which is a one shot of Britney in the hallway shooting the video and one specific part of the song. And I can't play the song because I'm going to get hit if I do. So I hope you understand this is specifically the part of the song that says, "My weakness caused you pain, and this song is my sorry," which everyone is kind of saying probably has something to do with the loss of this baby. So in the official video, Britney is she has gone through this situation where her head has been hit, I believe, by a paparazzi camera. She has a fight with her boyfriend. She ends up in her hotel room. She's taking a bath, and then she discovers that she's hurt her head and essentially is unalived in the bathtub is the idea. Now, in the original version of the video, the last shot is her actually coming up out of the water and surviving. So that was a whole thing. Now, in the alt version of the video, we have this shot. So, what she's saying here is that my weakness caused you pain, and I want you to take a look at her face when she says, and this song is my sorry. This song is my sorry. Looking up at the sky, which many have taken to mean that it could very well be her looking up at heaven. This idea that this song is actually about this lost child and not necessarily about the breakup itself. It's not an apology to Justin, it's an apology to the baby. And that is a big theory right now. And I'm going to say here, I did not find this on my own. This was something I did see on Exhale, and I have sources in the doc below. I don't want to call out the person's username in case they don't want that broadcasted to the entire world. But credit to them, and their name is in the doc. And thank you very much for sharing that with everybody because I think it is a very interesting point. Once I saw that this morning, my brain started to change. I started to think differently about this situation. So if I go back to my stuff here, what we start to notice is that when Britney has performed Every Time, there's been multiple situations in which she has had her hand on her stomach. And we have a few performances to really gauge from this because she did perform um Every Time on the ABC special for In the Zone when it came out. She did perform Every Time on the Onyx Hotel tour, which was the tour that accompanied the In the Zone album. But based on the performances I've seen of the HBO recording as in Miami, as I believe, as well as Rock in Rio, I did not see her touching her stomach through those performances. That doesn't mean she didn't do it at any point throughout the tour. I have not had the time today to be able to sit through every single Every Time performance she did on that tour. I apologize. There's only so many hours in the day. But what I can show you is that on the circus tour, there were multiple times that she did this. There was actually one time where it ended and she ran out and kissed her sons. And it was all around the same part of the I may have made it rain. Please forgive me. My weakness caused you pain. And this song is my sorry. It was not performed on the Femme Fatale tour at all. The ballad that was in that show was Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know. And then the next thing we know is in the Vegas residency, I saw this and I'm screaming at this point because here we have the introduction video, the first image that's on the left here. And that video is of Britney as an angel. And you see this like little figure reaching out to grab her hand. Notice me, take my hand. And then we have her as an angel. And there's a lot of looking up at the sky again. I cannot ignore all of this. I just can't. This could be a fan theory that amounts to absolutely nothing. But the next thing that kills me about this is that I can't say that Britney would never write about this. She would never write about motherhood because she has, and she's done it multiple times. There is My Baby that's on the Circus record, and I'm not even going to get into that song because that's like a whole thing in itself, and a lot of people really do not like that song. And I quite bluntly am unsure about the timeline of when she wrote it. However, I go back to my little video thing here. I have a clip.
I wrote this song.
This is the video shoot for Britney recording or Britney doing the music video for a song called Someday I Will Understand. Now, this song was one that kind of flew under the radar a little bit with people. This came out alongside Britney's TV show that she put out on UPN, I believe, with Kevin Federline called Chaotic. And it was a lot of them filming stuff of their relationship. They were attempting to take control back of the narrative when it came to their relationship. And basically, what ends up happening is the finale of this show is Britney shooting a music video for this song and revealing that she is pregnant. And this was the pregnancy of Sean Preston. So I wanted to show you guys this clip. And again, I've had to cut this up a bit for fair use purposes, and I may have to stop and start it and give my commentary. I do have the link to the whole episode of this in the description if you want to watch it without my interruption. I'm sorry, I have to do these things for fair use purposes, and I hope that that's understood. So here we go.
At my piano at my house, and I wrote it 2 weeks before I found out that I was pregnant. So it was really kind of weird because the song's about having a baby, and I just got married, and it's something that I had been dreaming about for a while. So
okay, so I don't know if you caught that. She wrote this song about having a baby, Someday I Will Understand, 2 weeks before she found out she was pregnant. And a lot of the lyrics of Someday I Will Understand is basically her just saying, like, nothing seems the way that it used to. Everything seems shallow. God give me truth. Someday I will understand in God's whole plan and what he's done to me. And I'll understand it all, basically, when I look at my baby. This was her mentality. And I've seen a few things written that it was like for her, this was a full circle moment. And I can't find the exact source of where that is because there's a lot of this type of media that since it's like, I mean, what? Sean Preston's 18 now, right? So we're talking like almost 20 years ago on the internet. And I've even have like an archive link in my sources because it's hard to go back to the original and to really find everything. But I just think it's very interesting. And I wanted to play the rest of this clip for you so you can kind of see where Britney's head was at when she talks about this stuff.
It's kind of like a prophecy.
Leaves.
It's really different, a totally different feeling from any other videos I've ever done.
And Britney.
When you're pregnant, it's an empowering thing, and to sing about it is really cool. When I wrote the song, I didn't really even think about what they meant. I just spoke from my heart,
So stream of consciousness writing, which again, this to me is just amazing to look at when we have this information now. That was this a moment for her potentially. My speculation, she was married. She knew she was moving into this new thing, a place in her life. She was probably trying, I would assume, with Kevin. And was just hoping that she finally would have her time, that she finally would be in this place, that this could happen for her after everything she had been through.
I was just at the piano and just said exactly what I felt at that moment.
This is like her way of letting the baby know that it'll always be there.
When people hear it, I just hope they just are inspired, by womanhood and celebrating that. I think it's one of the most beautiful gifts that we've been given, is to be able to have that.
That's it. Yeah.
On top of that, I think it's interesting that she does mention womanhood because that is such a huge topic that we are discussing now when it comes to Britney and this memoir. Because what she's saying in a lot of the promo for this book is that she wanted to kind of step into this womanhood role, but she was never able to because she was stuck having to be a child or a teenager. She had all those people around her that were controlling her all the time, and she didn't get to actually make adult decisions. And you can tell that even then she is doing her best to try to move into this different stage in her life. And unfortunately, we all know how things turned out when it comes to Sean Preston and Jaden James, and that she really didn't get to have that motherhood experience probably the way that she wanted to. The whole thing is so incredibly sad. And I have had my moments this morning that it's been very overwhelming. I have been very upset. And I am hoping that through this book that we're going to get more clarification on some of these things and that Brittany's going to be able to really talk to us about it. But I think this is the stuff we need to remember when she talks about how painful this has been, how much therapy she's had to go through, the work she's had to put in for herself personally to be able to write this memoir and share it with everyone, why she, had someone else read the book out, Michelle Williams, which I think is very interesting now because Michelle has been very open about being pro-choice in the past. And I'm sure she has empathy in this situation for Britney and what she's been through. All of these pieces together, I think, paint a very interesting picture. And I just hope that the public can see Britney for the woman she is, the complicated, layered woman that has been through so much. And it's just absolutely crazy. So again, I don't know how many of these fan theories are correct. My gut tells me that it's related, but that's my opinion every time. And the baby, that's my opinion on that one. But we can't confirm it. And I can't confirm it until Britney says anything. And maybe we'll get that. Maybe we will. So that's that portion of it. But I knew that if I didn't address this, that people would be like asking me about it. So I wanted to say something. But the main story today, what you all came for, and I wish I had more information for you, but I really don't. And it is the TMZ exclusive that they have shared that Justin Timberlake cheated on Britney Spears. So, the original source of this story is TMZ. I do have a statement I'd like to read you guys on this page to do with the news yesterday that Justin has been a part of. So I want to read you guys this statement. This was given to Entertainment Tonight. So a source told ET on Tuesday that Timberlake has been focusing on his own family and trying not to concern himself with Britney's memoir. In recent years, Justin has tried to be supportive of Britney from a distance. They dated so long ago, but he still has respect for her. Again, Justin and team, you keep saying the R word. You keep saying respect, and I don't think you know what that means. Justin and Jessica want everyone to grow and evolve instead of continuing to bring up the past. You know what I would have loved, Justin? That you would have grown and evolved as a grown man when you put out Cry Me a River and built an entire era around tearing down Britney Spears and Janet Jackson to catapult yourself into superstardom. What about that? Or does that just not count for you? It's just something that everybody else has to do. But when you want to talk about it and you want to profit off of it and you want to make this whatever fan fiction version of life that you created, your art and then make money off of it and fame and clout and everything else. The hypocrisy of this man is just on another freaking planet. And I don't even know how to process this. I'm still reeling from everything yesterday, and the fact that this all comes out, we all saw exactly how he treated Britney. We saw the press tour he did of, saying all like private things that they did together in exchange for extra spins of his song on radio stations and things like that. It's just absolutely disgusting. And for him to come out with a statement like this, saying that he and his wife want everyone to grow and evolve. Evolve? This isn't Pokemon, bro. Like, you have to be accountable for what you did. And you haven't been accountable yet because no one's actually known the truth of what you did. Like, am I out of left field here on this? It's just the most absolutely ridiculous thing. And it's so stupid. I just can't even handle it. So, yeah, keep crying, Justin. Like, it's your turn now. It is literally your turn to cry. Cry me a river. Denial is a river in Egypt. And just let it go. Just let it go. I'm so here for this. Like, I'm not here for your Delulu land. I'm not here for any of this. And the fact that you're bringing Jessica into this is just ridiculous. Like, leave Jessica alone. Leave Jessica alone. She didn't do any of this. She didn't want any of this, I doubt. Like, for real, like, the only person I feel bad for on the Timberlake side of everything is Jessica Biel. Because I'm sure she did not, wake up and go, this is what I wanted, So, yes, Justin, cry in ocean. Just cry. Just cry. It's fine. It's fine. Whatever. But these are the details that we have from Justin Timberlake these are the details we have from TMZ regarding Justin Timberlake. And I'm really sorry to tell you guys, there really isn't a huge amount. I wish there was more, but there isn't. So I'm going to read this to you guys. Just going to make it bigger so I can see properly. Britney Spears took most of the blame for years, truth, after she and Justin Timberlake split due to speculation that she cheated. But she's accusing him of doing the same with another celebrity, one of the many revelations in her new memoir. Britney's, The Woman in Me, doesn't drop until next week, but the cheating claim is just another chapter when it comes to her relationship with the NSYNC star. Remember, we were first to report that Britney also says she and Justin got pregnant when they were 19, and she claims he pushed for the termination she eventually had. In the book, we're told Britney doesn't name the person whom Justin allegedly stepped out, saying the woman now has a family, and Britney doesn't want to embarrass, which fans will inevitably start connecting dots on their own, which absolutely people have already done. Now, one thing I wrote on my Instagram this morning was that I'm not going to be actively speculating as far as who this person is. I have my theories, and I'm also not convinced that she's the only one. That's my opinion. So, I think there's gonna be a lot of names thrown out, but I also don't think it's fair to necessarily drag these women through the mud because for all we know, it's not them, right? And that's part of why I don't wanna make this like a who did Justin cheat on Britney with? Because if I'm wrong, like that's just straight up defamation to these poor women that probably want nothing to do with it. You know? And I wouldn't wanna be thrown into this mess with him right now. Right? Like, I don't wanna go in denial with Justin. I don't wanna go on that trip, crying. So that's part of why I'm holding back. And I have seen a number of theories. I think some of them are probably on point. I think some of them are absolutely ridiculous. Now, if the woman decides to come forward and say something, then I will talk about it. But I just don't feel right about putting other people's names in my mouths when they really have nothing to do with this situation. And Brittany has gone to considerable lengths to not call these individual women out or woman out. And I hope that that's fair. I know that that's going to be frustrating for some people. And I know we all love to gossip and we all love to have those opinions. But I think in these situations, gossiping can be damaging. And I just want to be responsible about that. Now, my speculation's not done yet, though. It's not done yet. Because I have to be completely honest. I think there is a lot more probably that's going to come out in this book regarding the breakdown of this relationship. I can't imagine that there wouldn't be. Because as we look at this now in context, it becomes pretty obvious that this situation regarding the breakup of Justin and Britney became what started the downward narrative of Britney in the media. And that media narrative was part of what I think got people so invested in this idea of tearing her down because she went from being such like America's sweetheart to this woman that Justin portrayed her as. And I think we all that were there remember how bad the misogyny was at that time and how much Britney really just took the brunt of it. And it was really, really, really disgusting. So I think she's going to talk about this quite a bit, and I hope that she does because I think she deserves her time to talk about it. And then I started thinking to myself, what if she has already? Because if we're going to believe the every time theory, let's say that the every time theories are completely correct. What else was written about at that time? So I went and I looked at unreleased Britney songs from the time that she was putting together the In the Zone record. And I remembered a song that was recorded. It didn't make it to the record, called Guilty that she wrote. And looking at it now, I'm kind of seeing it in a bit of a different perspective. And again, this is completely speculation. Completely speculation. So please do not say this is fact, but I'd be interested to know what you guys think about this because I always kind of try to go a bit deeper and look at full context. And I would be interested to see if I'm on the right track about this. This could be completely wrong, but let's take a look. So the song is called Guilty, and it is reportedly about the affair that Britney had with Wade Robson. And I'm going to say his name because I don't think that it is a huge secret at this point that allegedly choreographer Wade Robson was the reason that Britney and Justin broke up. You don't have to say what you did. I already know. I found out from him. Allegedly, the him has been Wade Robson. That has been the leading theory for a long time that I have seen. So, a lot of fans seem to think that this is about this triangle. And I want to go through some of these lyrics with you because I think they are fascinating. You're always too busy. Why don't you come with me? Don't act like you don't hear me. Neglected. You're guilty. Now, I'm assuming that this would be at Justin. And I think what we're looking at right now is we have to keep in mind now the context of where we're at in this relationship. Everything that's happened. Let's assume that the termination has happened at this point. This could not have been easy on her. She said that this was one of the most agonizing experiences of her life. And if we're going to believe that every time is representation of it, we're going to believe that there was continual, little Easter eggs in her art, talking about it, all that type of thing. Then we go into how much someday I will understand meant to her, my baby, all this stuff. This stuff is very important to her. So she's feeling neglected. She's saying, you are neglecting me. You are guilty of that. He noticed, Wade, no one was with me. I started getting friendly. He told me I was too pretty. I flirted. I'm guilty. So there's an admission here that things weren't good. She was feeling neglected and she flirted with another guy. Okay. I had no reason to lie. I told you 1,000 times. I needed you by my side, but you were nowhere to be found. Why would Britney possibly need to be close with her boyfriend? What could she possibly have been going through that she felt she needed support? And he was just gone. Potentially, even with other people. Hmm. And you pushed your luck when you stood me up, and now it's all messed up. Forgive me, but you went too far when you broke my heart. Interesting. So what happened there? What are we talking about here? What happened? What happened? Are we talking about the events that could have happened to do with the pregnancy? Are we talking about events that could have happened when it comes to infidelity? We got a lot of questions here. We got a lot. I felt, OMG, I'm guilty. And if losing you is what I've got to do to satisfy all of my needs, then I guess that makes me guilty. To me, this just kind of sounds like she's throwing in the towel. She's going, this relationship is not working. You're not hearing what I need. You don't seem to care about what I need. You're hurting me. I've been through so much. There's somebody here who's interested in me. I'm lonely. I'm neglected. So I guess I'm guilty. I guess I cheated. I guess I'm a terrible person. Like, does anybody else kind of get that vibe? You get what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just throwing that out there. Stop pointing the finger. I warned you that you were in danger. Okay, so there's been discussion here. It's true. I'm nobody's angel. Not that innocent. Convict me. I'm guilty. He worked it so perfect. Not like I did it on purpose. The verdict was worth it. He kissed me. I'm guilty. I'm done crying. I did nothing wrong. And that's why I decided to sing you this song about lovemaking, girl's heart breaking. I was cheating and screaming. It wasn't faking. How do you sit there and say I'm filthy when you're the one that made me guilty? Mic drop. And I am honestly wondering if this is the story. And what we've been missing this whole time is the context before it of why she was in that place, why she felt that neglected, why she was in that mindset. I don't know if that's the truth. But I can't ignore that there have been songs like this that she's written in the past that have ended up being true. I think about some of the stuff she wrote about K-Fed, the blackout demos that we have seen that ended up, she alleged that he went out to Vegas and partied after she'd had Jaden, and that was a big reason why she filed for divorce. All these things happened, and they've come out in over the years, little bit by little bit. So, what I am curious about is I think we will probably see next week if she chooses to get into anything to do with this whole Wade thing. I wonder if this is going to mirror what she says. Again, it could be nothing. It could be absolutely nothing. But is anybody else here kind of seeing it? Like, am I delusional here? Like, please tell me if I am, because I understand, like, I'm not a Swiftie type thing, but I know how deep fandoms can go when it comes to trying to connect things. We can go very Pepe Silva, and I'm not trying to speak out of turn. Um, but my goodness, is this crazy? This is absolutely crazy. So that is basically what I have when it comes to Justin and cheating. I don't have any more information because I'm not going to go and badmouth these women that I have no idea if they actually have been a part of this or not. I don't think that that's responsible. But again, I will continue to follow this. And if I see anything that's actually credible, we can talk about it. Um, I just am looking at the chat. I'm sorry. I haven't been looking at the chat at all because I've been trying to focus on everything that I want to say and making sure that I am being appropriate and respectful with what I am saying. Hello, Jules, saying I am seeing it. And no, you're not delusional. Well, thank you, Jules. It's good to see you. I do just want to say I cannot believe how many people are in here right now. I have never had this many people at the same time on a stream that I've done. So this is very special, and I want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you that is here. I love doing this, and I would love to do it more regularly, and people being here. Like, it's not even necessarily about the super chats or anything that people send in. Being here, being one of those numbers of the watching now is so huge for a YouTuber, and I want to thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with me, because I know, especially with this topic, you have a lot of other options. And I am so incredibly thankful that you've chosen to be here with me. I am going to ask you to please hit that like button because it does help me out a lot and it doesn't cost anything, and it really helps out for engagement for this video for my channel. And also, if you have not subscribed, I see the statistics through YouTube. I see the growing number of people who are lurking, who watch me all the time, and you guys are not subscribed. Please do that. It helps me out a lot. And if you want to know more about this topic, if you want to know more about Britney, or if you just like the way that I cover stuff, I mean, I stream weekly. This is a thing that I do, and I would love to see you be a part of it and enjoy it. And I'm going to continue to do my best to cover this the way that I do. So if you like that, please sub. Please share it with people that you think would enjoy it. I really want to grow this community, and I am just so thankful that you are all here today. And I am internally screaming right now looking at the number of people here. So thank you very much for being here. I do have some support here that I know I need to acknowledge. So to start with, at the beginning, Shauna gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Shauna, for your unwavering support on this channel. You are incredible, and I very much appreciate you as well. General Scott, sir, thank you again for your continued support of my channel. It means the world having people like you that just believe in what I'm doing, and it means so much. Terry is a member for 3 months. Thank you so much for your support on that front, saying, good to see you are doing better. Thank you. I'm still sniffy. I'm still a little sniffly. So I'm sorry if I have to stop and cough or whatever. And producer sister's still coughing, but she is not being a simple country lawyer. And if she needs to cough, she is leaving this room. So you all don't have to listen to it. We are doing our best to keep it professional. Janine sent in a super chat. I feel so defeated today. It's been a bad day at work, and I love your lives and videos. You're awesome, Kim. Thank you for the content. Much love. Janine, I'm so sorry you are feeling that way today. My love goes out to you. Thank you for supporting me. I hope that my streams help you feel a bit better. And I'm sorry that it's been a bad day. Bad days suck. Bad days suck. And I wish I knew how to comfort you, and what to do for you. Because the only thing I can think of in my head right now is playing Jennifer Hudson screaming insufficient funds, but I don't know if that's appropriate. Thank you. It's my answer for everything is Jennifer Hudson singing at us. So thank you very much. Kimberly in Japan, hello. Hey, Kim. I've been a long silent watcher. I remember you. I've seen you before. Last year, I was full force for JD. I fully feel your passion and your support. And I fully feel your passion, and I'm on all support for you. Go for it, Kim. Thank you so much, Kimberly. I very much appreciate that. And thank you for watching and always being so supportive because I have seen you around for a while. I know you've been here. Thank you. Maria24T sent in a super sticker, and I'm going to try to scroll up and see if I can see what the actual super sticker is because I can't see it on StreamYard. Oh, it's a Bravo. It's the puppy going Bravo. Thank you. Thank you. The Chaos Droid sent in a super sticker as well, and it is the puppy. It's the farting puppy. It's Steph's favorite, my friend Steph's favorite. Thank you very much for that. And I'm going to go back to the regular chat now and see what you guys are saying. Oh, that was a lot of talking. I knew it was a lot to go through, and I was hoping I'd be able to get through it relatively quickly because I know we have our saga, and I don't want to be here for like 4 hours. But yeah, we are 45 minutes into this stream, and I'm so happy that we that we're through it all, and I don't have people throwing things at me for what I've said, so that makes me feel better. Aria, congratulations for 11 months supporting me. That is amazing. I so appreciate that. I just saw your thing underneath saying I have been having bad anxiety all week, and your streams help calm me down. I'm so glad to hear that. Anxiety sucks. Anxiety sucks, and I wish it would just go away. But unfortunately, it's here. So it won't leave. It never leaves. It never ever leaves. Oh my goodness. Just double checking. Oh, Cindy just said, sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't subscribed. No worries. I will tell you, I've had a lot of people that are getting unsubscribed. So maybe you were and then something happened. I don't know what's going on, but I tend to get those messages like almost on a weekly basis now from people. So it's pretty crazy. Eve just asked, what do you think about Will Smith? Will Smith specifically, I don't have much of an opinion. I feel a bit bad for him in the situation that he's in, but I think that he's also a strong man, and I hope that he can make good choices for himself. As far as the whole Jada Pinkett Smith drama, pretty much you can take Anna Navarro's statement on The View about Jada of seeing like, I think she has an entanglement with her bank account and that this is just absolutely ridiculous. And that is exactly how I feel. I know way too much about this couple. I knew way too much about this family. I saw an awesome video on Instagram the other day of a young woman who wrote a song called Group Chat, just saying like, in this specific situation, can y'all please take us out the group chat? It's all your business. We really don't need to know that. I don't care if it's fake or if it's all facts. Please just take us out the group chat. I don't want to be in the group chat anymore. I don't want to know. 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 You shouldn't have told me, but you did. And now I'm telling you, you don't want to know. I don't want to know. So yeah, bonus points if you know where that quote's from. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Let me take a sec here. Shauna, thank you again for another 5 gifted memberships. That's amazing. That takes our gifted memberships up to 20 today. Amazing. It's so cool to see this community grow. Means the world. Thank you, Shauna, again, just for being you and being so amazing. Alrighty. Let me take a look here. Just going through. Yeah, Ryan Appleton said the fiasco with Will and Jada may give me an aneurysm. I mean, it's just kind of like, it's just been constant. It's been constant. And I think the difference is when we talk about memoirs, right? When we talk about, I always think of the clip from the Kardashians of Kris Jenner saying memoir, and then Khloe Kardashian making fun of her, just going memoir, memoir, memoir. Jada Pinkett Smith has had the red table. She has literally had an open outlet for the last like however long to say whatever she wanted and share things that are personal, and she's like done that for a long time. Whereas like Britney, for example, literally had her voice taken away from her for 13 years. I understand Britney wanting to share her opinion, talk about the narrative, all of those things. Um but I just kind of was at a point where I was like, Jada, like what else can there even be? And if there is more, did I really want to know? Do I really care about this? Do I really need to know this? I just don't. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't know. So I don't feel like the two of them are the same, if that makes sense. Because I'm really over it. Very, very over it. Nosferatu said, upon subscribing, make sure to click the bell icon to get all notifications. I would appreciate that if you would like to. I know everybody gets a lot of notifications on their phone, so I don't ever want to like force that on people or like pressure them to do that. But if you don't want to miss any of my content, that is a great way to make that a reality. So you're welcome to check that out and do that. Just checking through the chat. My goodness, you guys are talking today. This is going to be harder for me to keep up because you guys are so active. My goodness. Ah! So you guys discussing memberships. It looks like there were some people asking why some people get memberships and some people don't. It is completely random. I have no control over it whatsoever. I wish I did, but I don't. I can't control that at all. I can't even gift a membership to like specifically my mods, which I think is ridiculous because and that's the thing. I feel so bad because it's like producer sister is paying for her membership. Linda is paying for her membership. And I'm like, I need to send you guys money because I don't feel right about it. It's awkward. It's awkward. Oh my goodness. Yes. And please hit that like button. Well, I am going to ask you guys this question because I'm interested to see who has pre-ordered the book. And I'm just going to say The Woman in Me because I would love to know. I've seen some of you guys share that information. I just would love to see where we're at on that point. I have my pre-orders in. I am pre-ordered for the physical, for the Audible, and the Kindle version. All three. So hopefully the moment that it is for, that is available for consumption, I'm not waiting till the morning to get the book. I'm hoping that it's going to come through like midnight and I'm going to start. Oh my gosh, Bev, producer sister, I'm not sleeping. My bestie, I'm not sleeping. You can sleep. You can sleep. You think I'm going to be able to sleep? How am I going to be able to sleep? What do you... I'm just going to be laying in bed reading.
You're telling Sam.
Sorry?
You're telling Sam.
Oh, I'm telling Sammy. Producer sister just said I'm telling Sammy, who is her puppy. Because Sammy is very, very focused on his routine. And I think many of you guys probably have dogs that are like, you don't mess with the routine with the dogs. They don't let you. They do not let you. The other thing I will let you guys know that I have seen, because I don't want to ignore this news when it comes to the book, because I think it is important. Reportedly, the Spanish version of the book has leaked because a store put it out for sale. I want to throw things. Because advanced copies of this book were impossible to get, even like for press, which is incredibly frustrating because I really wanted to get an advance copy so I could prepare for you guys, and then come midnight on Tuesday I could just start pumping out content. um but that's just not the way that it's going to go. However, I would not be surprised if a version of this book, loosely translated, pops up somewhere, or if the Spanish version is shared. Now, I can't report on that. I can't show any of it. I can't go into that whatsoever, because if I do, I can lose my social medias. I can lose my channel. I can lose my Instagram. I've already seen some people be put in Instagram jail for things that they have shared that they were not supposed to share. So, my point, what I'm trying to explain to you guys, is that you may be seeing things around the internet that I'm not commenting on. I'm not commenting on them, not because I don't know about them, but because I want to be here with you, if that makes sense. You guys get what I mean? We're going to do this right. I'm going to do this the right way. My hope is always that on the off chance Britney ever saw my content, that she would be happy with what I've done, that she would feel empathy and understanding for me, as well as respect. I don't want to be someone that takes advantage of her in the public space. There's enough people who have done that. So I'm going to respect the book, and I'm not going to talk about those types of things until it's out for everyone, because I think that that's the right thing to do. It's a bummer because I know that there are people that are going to talk about it and they're probably going to get more views and things like that, and I won't. But I'd rather do things the right way. So, there you go. Sorry, I have to cough, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm a simple country lawyer. Let me see here. Mark C13579 said, Britney never mentioned who cheated on who first. That's very telling to me. If JT cheated on her first, wouldn't she have mentioned that? Well, that's the thing, Mark. She really hasn't mentioned anything. Britney has always been very quiet about a lot of personal things. She doesn't like to air her dirty laundry. She never did. And that's part of why this book is such a big deal. Because people would just pile on her and say horrible things about her and lie about her and things like that. And she just kept her head up and she kept hustling and she kept working. And it was like she put all of that energy into her art and creating, which I think is why her discography speaks for itself, because she doesn't have the time or the energy to go into this petty stuff. And she wanted to keep things respectful and attempt to be classy. But I think there comes a point where you have to stick up for yourself. You can't just let people keep saying what they want to say. And I think after she had her voice removed from her for so long in a public setting, she's at a point now where she knows that this is what she wants to do. And I'm proud of her. I think it's about time. Let me take a look here. Terry just said, I don't know where you found the book in audio. Awesome. My usual spots. Nope. Audible. That's where I did it. So it should basically, as soon as it's time, it should just go. It should just download. That's what I did with Mariah Carey. That's what I've done with a number of other books as well. So yeah, that's an idea. Let me see here. Shauna? Mm-hmm. Shauna, you gifted another 5 memberships. My goodness. Oh my gosh. So what are we at now? 30? So. Holy smokers. 25, 30. I can't remember anymore. There's a lot. And it means a lot. Thank you so much, Shauna. This is a problem. I want to. And then Robin just became 26. Robin just became? Yay! Hi, Robin. See, I feel bad for you paying for it too. Hi, Robin. Thank you for becoming a member. I hope you enjoy all the extra content behind the scenes. I put a lot of work into that, and I hope you guys really, really enjoy it. Let me take a look here. So Nosferatu said, I've hated Timberflake forever because he mocked, I'm assuming Prince. I'm trying to read it. Yeah, Prince and his height. You guys want to hear? You want to know something funny about that? Actually, so you know this song, this guilty song. Guess what it sampled? A little song by Prince called "Kiss," which I'm guessing might have actually probably had something to do with why it didn't end up getting released. Because I can't imagine that that would be a very affordable thing to do. Oh my goodness. Just double checking here, trying to stay up with everything. Hi, Joel Scott. Still here, just working. Good to see you. Katie, who has been a member for 3 months. Hello, Katie. I hope you got a notification today. I hope that worked for you because I know you had mentioned yesterday that you were unsure about what was the best way to get notifications, and I realized I didn't put anything on Instagram before I went on the live because I was so like focused on making sure I got everything. So I do apologize for that. Swoop stocks are out, and they're about Ruby and Johnny and Ukulele Lady. Producer sister, when will I sleep?
Never.
When will I sleep? For those of you that are new to the channel, one of the other stories I have been following at length is the controversies surrounding YouTube mommy vlogger, or disgraced YouTube mommy vlogger, and her business partner, who I believe, my speculation, opinion, cult leader, Jody Hildebrandt, and that whole drama that's been going on. And it's kind of one of those stories. It started off kind of quiet. It's gotten a lot bigger. It's now going into a lot more of the public eye. It's Ruby's on the cover of People magazine this month. Has been a documentary on Hulu about it. There's one on Netflix reportedly that's coming. There's a 2020 expose that's apparently coming. It's just going on and on and on and on and on. So I'm going to continue to follow that because it is quite the controversy. And on that point, I can say it does look like there was a hearing yesterday. Sherry and Chad, the two oldest children of the Frankie family, were both there yesterday with their dad of the year. And I don't know much more other than that because the hearings are sealed and I am team kids. Let's protect kids. And I don't have anything else to add to that at this time. So I will continue to follow the story and see what is going on. Okay, let me keep going. Robin just said, "Well, Prince notoriously lost the rights to his music. He may not have had any influence over that decision at the time." At that time, exactly. I'm just saying it probably is expensive, like the rights to be able to do that and sample. So, for the record, your honor, great. Now we're all booked for the day. No sleep.
2 dogs for about 2 hours, 20 minutes combined.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Or is it? Caitlin just said, it's just odd to know so much personal information about the people you've never met. I know that celebrity news, but still some things shouldn't be shared with the world. And normally I would absolutely agree with you. I think the difference is when we talk about Britney, it's that she has basically lost her privacy because of the level of fame that she has, which I think is disgusting and terrible, which is why I try to be respectful when I talk about her because I don't want to be a part of the problem of people just being so terrible to her. But I think when you have someone like once the cat's out of the bag, like once Regina George has opened up the burn book and thrown the pages all around the high school and everybody knows everybody's business, if there's things that need to get cleared up, if there's context that needs to be given at that point, I feel like you kind of need to, just for your own sanity, so that people don't necessarily believe things that aren't true. And it's hard sometimes to know when the right time is to do that. But yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. Is it Ela Blue? Ela Blue, I hope I said that right. The $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that. And I see a number one. It looks like there's like fireworks. Or oh, it's her first super chat. Oh, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for your first super chat. I feel so honored. Thank you very much. That's very sweet. Jersey Girl 51 said, Kim, do you think Britney will perform again? I hope so. I think there's been a level for her that singing and dancing, writing, performing, all those things, they've lost their magic because she's been forced. My hope is that as she has her independence and her freedom, that she will get that spark back. That's my hope for her, because I know at the end of the day, I think at points it has made her so happy. You know, she said many times that she feels like she's on top of the world when she performs. And I want her to feel that way again. But if it's not what's best for her and that's not where she's at mentally, then I wouldn't want her to. I want her to perform on her own terms. I think that would be my biggest want for her at the end of the day on that front. But I think it's going to be hard for her to stay away from the stage just because of who she is, just as a person. So Christine has been a member for 2 months. Thank you for all the work you do. Much love to you too. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being a member for 2 months. I very much appreciate it. Tyrana sent a $2 super sticker, which is the farting doggy. Thank you for the farting doggy. The problem is I just think of, like, it's not a problem, but it's whenever I see that doggy, I just think of Steph screaming, and it just makes me laugh almost instantly. Alrighty. Let me see here, going through the chat. Danny Scales also sent in a super sticker. Thank you very much for that. And it's the mwah, mwah to you too. Thank you. Thank you muchly. And Jean Rick, hello. Hello, Queen Space Angel. She said, hey there, Kim. Happy Wednesday. Amazing stream. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always your support. It means a lot. Well, guys, I think we've gone through the chat now quite a bit. We're at about the hour mark. What do you guys say we get into the saga? Are we down for the saga? Are we down for the what? You guys let me know. I'm going to stop the poll here of who has pre-ordered The Woman in Me, and we have no at 62% and yes at 37%. I mean, I'm sure there will be many copies, and I know that when it is released, even if there's a shortage of copies, people can still get the ebook version and the Audible version. But, you know, I think you should pre-order it if you're interested. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I think, honestly, it's going to be probably one of the biggest books of the year. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Project Metal Music says, this is going to be fifth saga. To be clear, one of the things we have joked about on this channel before, if you are new here today, because I know we have a good amount of people here, one of the things we have looked at in the what section is essentially design fails, things that annoy people, just things that are infuriating and they're not right, like things like tiles not being the right way and things like that. And there was this elevator that had labels for each floor. So they had, at the top was 4th floor, then it was 3rd floor, then it was 2nd floor, then it was 1st floor. And the amount of like stackable fail moments it took for those labels to be in that elevator absolutely wrecked me the other week. So it's kind of become this joke now where people that were there for that stream. They add in things to everything to make me laugh as well. We also joke about Jacksonville because there was one picture of Jacksonville from like an aerial shot where we saw that it really wasn't a grid system, it was on an angle. And I shared about how when I have spent time in Jacksonville, it has always just been construction the entire way through and how frustrating that has been. And I was just like, now this makes sense because like the whole city is just like, and it's weird. So we've kind of joked that some of these houses are Jacksonvilles and some of these fails are all Jacksonville fails. So it is that is the stuff behind it. I just got the notification about Swoop. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Stay on target. All right. Here is the saga. And I'm just going to double check here. Okay. So there's a lot of slides for this one, but producer sister and I have made the joint decision to have the text be a bit bigger so it's easier for me to read. So just so you guys know. Okay. All right. Sorry, I just got a notification I was not expecting. All right. So the saga for today. Here we go. Parents told my brother that he could take my house and I could just live in the camper in the backyard because I'm single and he has a wife and kids. But is it your house? Are we just taking people's houses?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go, guys. I am a single man in my early 30s. I'm going to move my mic over a little bit just so I can be in better position. My apologies, simple country lawyer. I am a single man in my 30s. I've got a brother who is 29 and he's already got 4 kids now. He had his first at 22 and the second followed a year later. The third 2 years after that. And the fourth was most recently born a couple of months ago. His wife, my sister-in-law, and I do not get along as she always likes to try to get a rise out of me by acting superior. Then turns into an extreme self-victimizing drama queen if I retaliate against her in any way. She can cry in an instant and can put on an extremely convincing show to get sympathy from just about anyone. My parents and brother absolutely adore her, even though they know exactly how she really is and just don't care. She's very good looking, I'll give her that. But she's so awful that I could never be attracted to her. She also refuses to get any sort of job, even though she has a college degree and my mother willingly helps with the kids all day. She also refuses, so their finances are entirely dependent on my brother. This also means they can't afford to live anywhere but my parents' house. And privacy is still a bit of an issue with all of them under one roof in a 3-bedroom house that was built in the 60s. All right. There we go. Growing up together, my younger brother was the obvious favorite. We were 3 years apart in age, but he developed a superiority complex because I was badly punished if I retaliated against his antics in any way back then. Kind of sounds like you're the family scapegoat, bro. It was obvious that my parents cared for him a lot more because he got the lion's share of everything unless people called them out on it, which did happen a fair bit by other members of my family. Definite scapegoat. There we go. Which is why my parents packed us all up and moved us about 150 miles away from them. What? So they generally only would see us on holidays since it was a 3-hour drive. My brother got physically ABUS IVE towards me on a number of occasions, flirted relentlessly with my first girlfriend to the point she broke up with me and laughed at any misfortune I had. Oh my goodness, this is awful, bro. This is legitimately terrible. Wow. My parents told me to suck it up whenever I was upset about it. I only got equal treatment when my parents wanted to keep up appearances. I admit it was rather funny to see the looks on their faces when they had to treat me equal to my brother on birthdays and Christmas because other people were present. It's funny how that works. We had relatives that were very nosy and loved gossiping drama, so my parents did their best to hide what was really going on and threatened to take all my stuff away if I didn't keep my mouth shut. If anything, it just made my parents celebrate more when I turned 18 and moved out because it meant they no longer had to provide for me. I wasn't even done with my high school yet when I moved out, but couch surfing was far better than living with them. I was low contact ever since leaving home. They didn't even show up for my high school graduation, but I didn't really care. From that point on, I would usually only see my parents and brother on holidays like the rest of the family. This is so sad. What an awful way to live. The start of the 2020 pandemic was not kind to me. I lost my job. I couldn't renew the lease on my condo because my roommate also lost his job, and neither of us could afford the place on unemployment money. It was rented. It was a rented two-bedroom condo that I really loved, and the lease was ending. And my roommate left early to move back with relatives, and I had to sell nearly all of my stuff because I was soon going to be homeless if I didn't downsize to the extreme. I really shouldn't have rented a place that was so expensive, but I liked living the high life. Until that, life wasn't kind to me. And I realized I should have been living somewhere far cheaper so that I could have saved more money to fall back on. But I had a plan. I own a truck simply for the fact that I've always loved trucks. So I found a $1,000 camper in good shape and put it on my truck just so I could live out of it for a while. It was supposed to be temporary, but I ended up living out of it far longer than I ever thought. I originally was hoping to be able to live out of the camper at my parents' house where my brother and his family still reside as well. But when I asked my parents to let me stay for a while, they told me they had a full house and didn't want me there. But he wouldn't be in the house.
Yep.
Bro's trying, man. Wow. Plus, we hadn't exactly gotten along in the past decade. They said they'd only agree to let me park my camper there if I paid them basically what it cost to rent an apartment in my area. Oh gosh. That was way too much just to park my camper. I was jobless and trying to save as much of my unemployment as I could until I could find a new job. I may as well be living in an apartment with a rent price that they were asking. My parents called my camper an eyesore and told me to take a hike since we couldn't come to an agreement. My sister-in-law thought it was absolutely hilarious I had to live in a camper. That's big talk coming from you. My brother joined her in pointing at and mocking me while calling me a homeless bum. Oh, that's awful. That's so upsetting. Just that's not dude's trying to make it in the world, right?
He's trying to be responsible.
Yeah, he's trying to be responsible for himself. Good for him. I parked my truck/camper in a store parking lot a lot to sleep the first night I had nowhere to go. I felt scared out of my mind that someone might try to break in. Suffice it to say, I didn't sleep well that night. There was nowhere else I could go, as my other relatives that owned houses were fairly far away, and all my friends were all apartment people. And I was pretty attached to my area as well, so I didn't want to just leave. I also had my mail forwarded to a friend's apartment. It's the only way I could still get my mail anymore. Finding a stable place to work was pretty difficult, or to park was pretty difficult. I went around to try to find a job similar to my old one. It took months of living a nomadic camper life. In that time, I had to deal with a lot. Everything from beggars and I'm assuming substance people to people demanding that I leave because my camper was an eyesore. At one point, someone who told me to, sorry, at one point, sorry, I messed up there. At one point, someone who told me to move claimed to be with the homeowners association. I wasn't even parked on a street with houses. And when I questioned what homeowners association, they got incredibly belligerent and threatened me. I moved my camper away just to avoid the trouble. In order to have a steady supply of electricity, I learned to use a long extension cord and to plug in wherever I could to recharge my camper batteries. This meant sneaking around and plugging it into outside outlets of random buildings while parked on the street. I know that's a crummy thing to do, but I had to keep my batteries charged so my refrigerator would stay cold. I had a small solar power bank for recharging my phone, but I didn't have anything like a generator. And generators are noisy and require fuel anyway, so I did what I had to do. After months of living like that, I finally managed to get a new job. I had to move to the neighboring city to find a job that didn't involve retail. I worked in retail while in college, but promised myself never again, though I was nearly ready to break that promise. I was still getting unemployment money, but I had no stable place to live while receiving it, and I didn't want to be jobless when it ran out. Plus, I was bored out of my mind. I had little else to do but read, watch movies on a small portable DVD player, and use my phone or laptop to keep note of where I could park and what local public bathrooms I could use. I kind of envy that Japanese have public bathhouses. We could really use that stuff. We could really use stuff like that over here. Sorry, just need some water. When I finally landed a new job, I practically lived in the back lot of the building by the warehouse in an old employee parking spaces. Literally, no one else seemed to bother using because they were so far in the back of the area that was borderline forgotten. My boss slash company owner actually liked this arrangement because I was willingly available to take any shift I could get. So as long as I had enough sleep. He even let me take my camper off my truck and set it up in one of the spaces so that I could drive around without it. Not exactly sure if this was legal, but no one bothered us about it. The entire time I lived back there, I didn't have to deal with many trespassers. There were a few, but the security guards escorted them out. I was pretty much on call almost all the time when they needed me and was working virtually every day of the week. My boss let me plug my camper into the building for power and water, and I paid a small amount of rent by working for free on Sundays when no one else was in the office but the janitor and the security guard. Beyond that, I usually had to shower at a friend's apartment or at my local gym, as my camper didn't have a shower in it and only a portable toilet. I didn't want to fill it because emptying it was a nasty chore, so I used other bathrooms as often as I could. I had a key to the warehouse and I could go in and use the bathroom there at any hour. I was even on a first name basis with the night security guard. He's since become one of my closest friends. The camper was easy to heat in the winter with a small electric heater. Summers were not fun though. The camper didn't have any AC, so I had to get a used portable air conditioner just to make it bearable. This dude is doing his best, man.
Yep.
I admire the hustle.
Yeah.
I really, it sucks that he's had to be in this place, but my goodness, you don't see him like poor me, whatever. He's just doing what he's got to do. I love that. I made a lot of overtime pay and hands on learned some new skills from other employees. Eventually, midway into this year, I landed an even better position in the company as a supervisor and started to make a better salary than my old job. And that's when I decided I wanted a house. The scare I'd gotten from losing my condo made me realize I needed something much more stable in the long term. I looked around to something close to my work. Just 2 miles away, I found a three-bedroom manufactured home on a small property, but I managed to get it for 10K less than the asking price somehow. I used nearly my entire savings for a down payment and got approved for a home loan. I finally didn't have to live in a camper anymore. There was enough space for me to back my truck in behind the house, to take the camper off and set it in the backyard. So I put it there and it's its own little building just in case I want to use it again. I love this. Good for him. For real. Kudos. Good job, man. Oh no. Okay. I was just told by producer sister, here we go. All right. When I was fully settled in the house, I was dumb enough to brag about it on my book of faces. On the Facebook. My family saw the post, and this is where the crap really starts. After a few weeks, my parents and brother, along with his family, came to visit completely unannounced to have a tour of my home. I didn't even give them my address. So, how they found out where I lived, I still don't know. None of my friends have fessed up, nor prior family members visited me before that. So, I wonder if they stalked me at work and followed me home or something. It really wouldn't surprise me. And once I opened the door, they all practically shoved their way in like rambunctious tourists. Oh my gosh. I'm having flashbacks to people trying to get into Disney World right now.
Rope drop to Toy Story.
Yeah, rope drop to Toy Story. Literally, when Toy Story Midway Mania opened up at Disneyland and Disney World Orlando, I was there at park opening to run and get a fast pass because at that time you had to get physical fast passes. I'm not kidding. A grown man literally hit me in the face to get past me so that his family could get fast passes before me. I was like my late teens. I could not. I'll probably find out actually what year that was. Producer sister, I can't even remember. Would have been the year that it opened. I was younger though, and I was like, I cannot believe this. Oh. Then just started making themselves at home. They all kept poking around, and my sister-in-law had this creepy smirk that she was repeatedly flashing me, and it was only later that I figured out why, and it made me madder than a bull on steroids that got stung by a hornet. My parents were constantly talking about how I've got so much extra space now, and it's just too much for someone like me that has no wife or kids. Sure, not now, but maybe someday. And my brother kept remarking about how this was more space than our parents' house, and my house was closer to his job, too. Red flags all around. I know. I would call the cops. Eventually, my brother asked to speak privately. Oh gosh. Everyone else suddenly left the room and piled out on the front porch. And that's what finally made me realize they had planned something. My brother, let's call him Dan for the sake of simplicity, said the house was too much for me alone. And I should let him move in with his family because his wife is pregnant with kid number 4. And my house is much closer to his job. He pointed out that I already have the camper, so I could just live in that outside while they live in the main house. I hate these people. I hate these people. Like I actually hate them already. And I'd like to point out that Dan never once spoke of offering rent. Mind you, he's got a good job, and he also started talking about how there would be changes, even curfews, and that I couldn't just walk in anytime without prior notice. Dude, this isn't your house! You don't live here! If you're not on the ownership, you can leave. Why do you think you already was? I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. Oh, sorry. Okay. If it weren't my brother, I think the person I was talking to had lost their mind. But Dan lost his marbles long ago thanks to our parents treating him like he was the center of the world. I tried to speak and he kept talking over me as if I had no say in the matter. There was no way that I would rent my house or parts of my house to him. Other people, maybe, just so I can pay the mortgage off more easily, but certainly not him or his nasty wife. Oh my gosh. Call the cops. Call the cops. Call the cops. I've heard of this exact situation in videos online so many times, and I never once did think I'd actually live it because I thought it was so ludicrous. But my parents' brother and sister-in-law do all fit the bill for a bunch of narcissistic, entitled crazies. That is a very accurate description of what I'm hearing right now. So I picked up my phone, set it to start recording, and then just held on to it. Dan didn't even seem to care or notice that I had done this, and I just sat there with his arms waving around while talking about all the reasons why he needed my house, and then went from saying that to acting like it was a done deal and trying to reach out his hand and shake mine. And that's when I finally showed my backbone to say no. And as I said it loud enough that Dan stumbled backward for a second, I rarely ever raised my voice to him on that level because I was punished by our parents whenever I did. But this was my house, not theirs. My spine can be as shiny as it wants here. I stood up and told them that this is my house. It was not up for grabs. And acting like I'll let him move in just because they want it won't make it happen. I bought my house for me, and it's not my fault he keeps having more kids and has to keep living with our parents because he can't afford to move out. Preach. Dan got as physically close to me as he could without actually touching me and said that I didn't deserve the house. And he needed a better place for his family to live. I laughed back in his face and said that it was a total BS because I worked hard to be able to buy my house. Literally, you lived in a camper. You worked 7 days a week. Oh my goodness. Of course I deserved it. Dan started yelling that I have no wife or kids and I don't need all the space, so I might as well give it to him. I said I'm not giving him anything, and he never even offered to pay me rent. If I let him move in, I would still be covering the entire mortgage on my own house without even being able to live in my own house. Then Dan told me he shouldn't have to pay rent because his family comes first. Oh my gosh, bro, go no contact with these people. Just go no contact with these people. And our parents said I was going to do this and that I will. I yelled as if their word was law or something and told Dan they did not have the right or power to give my house to him. Then, right on cue, my parents and my sister in law barged back in through the front door and surrounded me to try to force me to agree. Absolutely not. There was a lot of fighting, but to sum it up from this point, I heard the line, just do it for Dan, way more times than I can remember. In the fight, I told them they all don't have a say in my life or my house and to get out before I called the cops. Yep. Sister in law screamed at me the loudest. Screamed the loudest at me about how she was pregnant again and I can't do this to her. I said, I did nothing to her. No, you did not. She just assumed she could take from me and like I would just allow it. I had no obligation to her or her family, and I called her a stuck up B word who never had any respect for me. So I don't care what she thinks or how many kids she has. I have no sympathy for her and she won't be living in my house. Well, that made her angry enough to attack me. She got in one good hit on my face and tried to do more, but my brother held her back, kicking and screaming. She kept demanding he let her go so that she could scratch my eyes out. The phone I was holding recorded pretty much everything, so I held it up and said I was going to call the police if they did not leave right away. My parents told Dan they were leaving, and then my mother said that I had a week to come to my senses. I told her I won't be and to not come back. Then I told my sister-in-law that my phone recorded everything, and if she tries anything, I will press charges for assault. She screamed at me and then stormed out loudly, crying with her face in her hands. My mother was the last one out the door and said that I better do this for Dan and sister-in-law. I responded, telling her I won't be. What is like the Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this family? I can't. I just want to say I'm so proud of this kid. I hope I'm going to be prouder of this kid as time goes on. Yep. Okay. So that was the original. Yep. How are we doing, everybody? I have to do this, though. I'm sorry. You don't get to demand to live in somebody else's house, and especially not throwing them into a camper. Like, that kills me. It's not like he had, like, a mansion or something. But even at that, like, bro, you still got to pay rent. I mean, they were going to charge, his parents were going to charge him rent to live in the parking lot. Or not in the parking lot, on the driveway, in a camper.
So he has to pay rent to be in their driveway, but they don't have to pay rent to be in his house.
So why does OP, or original poster, only have to pay rent and Dan does not? What is so magical about Dan?
The chosen one.
He's the chosen one. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sorry, you don't get to live in a house that somebody else owns because you're entitled and narcissistic when you have
insufficient funds. You ain't got no money. Ooh.
Ooh. We all need to listen to Jennifer. The wisdom of Jennifer Hudson. Oh my goodness. Okay. King Bob? I should check. Have I missed any support? I think I missed. Robin DL popped in to be a member of 10 months. Just popping in to say hi. I'll be in the replay. Hi, Robin. Thank you for 10 months. I am so glad you are here, and I hope you enjoy this on the replay. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. But where is it? Firthborn. Firthborn. Thank you, King Bob. Okay. So this happened earlier this year?
Yes.
This is current too?
Yes.
After I kicked my parents, brother, and sister-in-law out for trying to force me to hand over my new house to my brother, I immediately went to my so that sentence is just like okay. I immediately went to my social media and told the story to my whole family. It spread pretty fast, but you won't find it now because it all got deleted some time ago, and I put my own profile on private. I posted it because I knew that the first thing my family would do when they got home was try to twist the event to make me the villain. 100%. Yes, they would. And I was exactly right. And I had about an hour to get started before them. And I had video evidence to back up my story about what they had done. No, I don't plan on showing the video here, so don't ask. Okay. Being preemptive worked because I got a fair number of family members on my side right away. My parents, brother, and sister in law must have been all set to write their own post, but it was too late. So they didn't even bother trying to lie much. My parents, Dan, and sister in law had a few flying monkeys supporting them, but not much else. do, 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 do. Oh my gosh. Plenty of others knew how entitled they already were. I mean, I think when you know people like that, it becomes pretty obvious that they're entitled. I've met a few people like that in my life. You can only play that card for so long before people catch on and they're just not here for it. Oh. So what happened was something they all quickly understood and accepted. There was one person in particular that called me. I don't know who they were, but they ranted at me that I was this horrible brother and I needed to make a way for a real family man. I just ended the call and blocked the number. This didn't repeat. What? I can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous. I got nothing here. Okay. The week went by and my parents showed up with Dan at my front porch, just like they said they would in their prior ultimatum. Oh no! They rang my doorbell like crazy and also pounded on the door until I finally answered. I opened it just a crack and they tried to shove their way in again, but I installed a couple latch chains that prevented it, yes, and I even braced my body against the door for good measure. My father and my brother demanded I let them in, but I said I was recording everything on camera and I would call the police if they tried to force their way in again. My mother calmed them down and then, in her most sickly sweet tone, asked me if I was ready to let my brother move in. I told her and the rest of them to F off and to never come back. This is the thing. If you're going to ask somebody for like a favor, there usually has to be some type of like what's in it for them, right? Like you'd give someone a favor because they've been good to you, right? Like there's kind of like a two-way street. Like if I had a place and producer sister was down on her luck for whatever reason, producer sister could come in and stay with me, because we have an actual good relationship. It is a mutual relationship. This is not. Oh my gosh. My mother put on the crocodile tears and asked me why I just can't do this for Dan because he's my beloved brother. I am. Oh, producer sister just said Lynn Spears' voice. I am so sorry for your pain. I've been sorry for years. You know deep down how much I love you. I laughed and then bluntly said I do not love him as a brother because he treated me like crap for years and they only encouraged him to do so. They are terrible parents as he is a terrible brother. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. Then told them to leave or I'd be calling the police ASAP. They all left surprisingly easily, apart from my mother's loud crying. And others giving me dirty looks. One could say making them leave was suspiciously easy. I thought the whole mess was over, but I guess I should have taken them more seriously because they had other stupid plans. No! I feel like I know what's coming, and I don't know how to handle it. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you know what's coming.
I'm terrified. I'm terrified. How are we all doing out there, everybody? We are on slide 14 of 30. Okay.
I feel like there's some parallels with this in Britney's family.
Producer sister just said, I feel like there's some parallels with this in Britney's family. I mean, Britney did like give them the house, and Destin and Jamie Lynn being like, we have the greatest place ever in Destin. It's the best place for everybody to go. And it's like, that wasn't your place. It was Britney's. And she sold it pretty much as soon as the conservatorship was over. Oh my goodness. Producer sister, can I ask you a massive favor? Can you get me a Coca-Cola, please? My throat. Oh my goodness. All right. Yes, I will say the day that Britney sold the Destin condo was a glorious day for me. That was a great notification when I got that. I was so happy. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab another drink. Producer sister grabbing that for me very kindly. I very much appreciate that. I would grab Lacey, but are you awake, honey, or are you sleeping? I know we probably have some new people here. Would you all like to meet Lacey? Would you all like to meet my toy poodle? Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's great. That's great. This is Lacey. She is my partner in crime. She hangs out with me. She goes everywhere with me. She is actually my service dog. I adore her. For those of you that don't know, I have a condition called CPTSD, and Lacey helps me out a lot with that. She does a number of behaviors that specifically assist me with that. And because of that, she basically is with me all the time. She prefers to be with me. And that's why we, as a community, all got together and we bought this lovely chair for her and the bed. And that is why she is here, because she helps keep me sane. That's also why one of the custom emojis on the Space Angels community is a paw print, because I have two dogs. I have Lacey, and then I have another dog, Charlie, who is a senior Shih Tzu, who is a little character. He's a grumpy old man baby, and he's very loud, which is why he's not on stream with me, because if he's in the room, no one else is talking because he's talking over everyone. Okay. Just gonna go here quickly because I think I saw something here. Thank you, Brandon, for the super chat. Snacks for Lacey. She actually hasn't finished all of her breakfast this morning, so I won't be giving her any snacks. But yeah, we'll go from there. She's fine. She's fine. Sometimes she's just a bit more of a grazer, so it's all good. But I don't like to give her cookies when she's, hasn't finished her food. Annoying. I'm like a mom like that. Okay. Should we keep going? Let's go.
It's Popo time.
It's Popo time?
It's Popo time.
According to producer sister, it is Popo time. Here we go. Oh, Chris Barber, I just saw your chat there. I'm sorry about that. I hope everything gets okay. Sorry. Yeah, been there. I came home later that week on Friday evening to find a moving truck. What? At my brother's minivan parked in the driveway. It was Dad and his family moving stuff in. He waved at me with a poop-eating grin when I saw him, and I was furious and told him and the rest of his family to stop. But sister-in-law smugly said to me, like it or not, they were moving in. And then in the most fake way, while tilting their head and puckering her lips, she said that it was okay because my mommy allowed it. I hope they all go to prison. Put them all in prison. And I should always listen to what my mommy tells me. I seethed with rage just hearing those words and looking at her smug bee face. So locked myself in the truck to call the cops right away. And then I realized what I was doing. And when they realized what I was doing, sister-in-law started pounding on the window and yelling at me to stop. And that I can't do this because she and Dan need the house. And she cried, why can't you just do this for Dan? And I responded with, F Dan, it's my house. This is my house. Not him. She threatened to key the side of my truck unless I stopped calling the police. Oh, please do. Please do. Oh my gosh. All of which the 911 operator heard thanks to the window being slightly open. I told my sister-in-law if she damaged my truck, I'd sue her, and she was smart enough to retreat. I cannot believe how stupid these people are. Like, once the cops are getting called, once they've threatened that, leave. Leave. You can't gaslight people anymore at that point. You can't manipulate them anymore. They've made their choice. You have no legal grounds. You have no legal grounds. When the police arrived, Dan and the sister-in-law, along with their kids, had locked themselves in my house. I told the cops what had happened, as well as showing them my new driver's license that had my current address on it. And when they went to my front door, they saw that they'd changed the lock.
How do you think they got in?
Producer sister just asked, how do you think they got in? I assumed that maybe they had hired like a locksmith. No. So they just like braked and entered then. Oh my gosh. The old lock was laying on the porch with the center of it drilled out, and the drill they used was laying right next to it. They left it. With the complete Harbor Freight drill bit set. Could they have been any more stupid leaving evidence out like that? I mean, bro, OP, I don't think your family's really the smartest people in the world. Let's be fair at this point. Like, the logic, 1 + 1 does not equal 2 for them. We lost that. We went, like, we are so beyond that right now. I pointed out the broken lock and drill and then gave the police a rundown of the events that had happened prior. Well, I guess Dan called our parents over at some point after I arrived home because they showed up while I was talking to the cops. My parents immediately lied and started saying that I'd agreed to rent my house to my brother and his family. There is video evidence that you did not. Oh my gosh. I said that was easily provable one way or another. So Dan and sister-in-law finally came out of my house with some papers in hand. They both looked super smug, like they'd somehow outsmarted me. They had actually drawn up and printed out a fake rental agreement, but my signature was not on it. There was one that looked nothing like my handwriting. I don't think any of them have ever seen my actual signature. That was so incredibly stupid on their part. I told my parents that Dan was stupidly blatant fraud. And the cops investigated, they'd easily figure it out. And I don't think I'm going to jail and the court would do them any good. And I couldn't even make Dan lose his job, which is his only means of providing for his family. I also said I would get a lawyer and sue for damages if anything of mine was lost, stolen, or broken. And I'd call CPS too for good measure. I think that needs to happen. That needs to happen. Dan went white and looked really scared when I said that, but my mother got between us and doubled down on how I should just do this for— What is so magical about Dan? What did Dan do? What did Dan do? I yelled at her. Sorry. I should just do this for Dan and live in a camper so they can finally have a family home to themselves. I yelled at her that if she thought that was such a good idea, that she could do it for Dan herself and let Dan have her house to himself instead. Yes! Send the parents in the camper. They created this mess. Cops separated my mother from me and said I wanted them all out right now or I'll press charges. I started to shout about how they drilled out my front door lock to break in. The lease papers were obviously fakes. They had badly forged my signature, and I have a recorded video of sister-in-law attacking me. Those are felonies, and I could F over their lives with them if I wanted to. And if they didn't leave, that's exactly what I would do. And the only reason I hadn't already was for the sake of Dan's kids. So they had one more chance to get the F out. And the moment my parents heard that, I think it finally clicked that they could not force me to do it to Dan. My mother surrendered and said she would put an end to all of this. She went over to sister-in-law and spoke with her quietly for a minute while my father spoke to Dan. Sister-in-law instantly started loudly crying and ripping up the fake rental papers into tiny pieces and tossing them like confetti, only to have an officer tell them to pick up the bits of paper or he'd cite them for littering. Both of the cops at this point had the I don't get paid enough for this look on their face. I mean, this has to be pretty rich drama, though. Like, yeah, they're gonna have a good story after this. This is a lot. Wow. Dan had to start telling his kids to load their stuff back into the moving truck. All the kids were crying. And the eldest was sobbing that he won't get his own room now. Welcome to life, kids. It's not always fair. And you gotta earn stuff. Even if that means living in a camper in a parking lot, working 7 days a week to save enough money to buy yourself a house. Crazy how life works. Wow. Sister-in-law and Dan gathered their kids and tried to make one last pathetic attempt to guilt me. Oh my gosh, just stop. Let it go. Be like Elsa and let it go. To guilt me with the sad family routine, where they all gather together in some sort of group hug while all facing one direction. I swear I think they practiced it beforehand. All the kids had the same pleading look with quivering mouths. Sister-in-law kept rubbing her pregnant belly and tilting her head to look like a sad puppy, and my brother just kept making the saddest face he possibly could and said, please don't do this. We need to be able to live here. But I didn't falter, and I told them to keep packing. All the kids and the sister-in-law turned the crying up to 11, and Dan yelled at me, are you satisfied with yourself? You denied us a home because you're too selfish to share and help out your family. I ended up laughing like a maniac and retorting to what he was trying. I ended up laughing like a maniac and retorting that what he was trying to do was taking, not sharing. And no amount of crying will make me let his family move in because he is no brother of mine anymore. He is just an entitled P-word who thinks that he can take whatever he wants from me, like when we were kids. And Dan started F-bombing me until the cops told him to cool it or he'd be in cuffs. Regardless, I wanted to press charges. He sucked in his lips and looked a mix of afraid and supremely pissed off. Where do these people come from?
I don't know.
Dan, you can try Sears. Like, I just can't. How are we on slide 19 out of 30? What is happening? Okay. I asked the cops if they could stick around until my parents, brother, and sister-in-law had all left. And they all said they had no intention of going anywhere until this had been resolved. In fact, in the next few minutes, 2 cops became 4 as more drove in for whatever reason. That gave my parents some extra incentive to get moving. I made Dan give me the keys to the new lock he'd put on my front door, though I got another lock the next day because I didn't know if they had copies of the keys or not. Wise. Sorry. He was reluctant. He was really reluctant to hand them over. Then instead of handing them to me, he actually threw them down in the street into a storm drain while saying to go get them myself. But one of the cops scolded him for that and made him go get them. I love that the cops have had enough. I hope this was validating for him. of having the police being like, how about no? I just saw Carbonite Stardust. Thank you so much for the gifted 10 memberships. That is so kind of you. I've lost count of how many memberships we've had this stream. Pardon? This is 36. That is incredible. Thank you all so much for that. And thank you, Carbonized Stardust, for your support of this channel, as always. You are incredible. Thank you and welcome, new Space Angels. Okay. Oh, he had to pull the grate off just to get at them, and he got pretty dirty in the process. When he got the keys back, he grumbled and then slammed them down into my hand. I told them all to leave and never come back. My mother said I'd be disowned for this, as if that was some kind of threat to me. Exactly. And they don't understand. Look, what is the benefit? What is the benefit? There is none. And I voiced that to them. Then, overly sarcastically, I said something along the lines of, oh no, that means I won't get to come to any holidays with you guys where I get treated like garbage by you all anyway. Because Dan has always been your obvious favorite. You all treated me so badly when I was growing up that if Dan ever needs an organ donor, I wouldn't give him anything. So do like you always told me to do when I was mistreated by all of you and suck it up. You go, OP. You go, OP. You go, Glen Coco. I'm so proud of you. My parents were floored after I said all of that. You shouldn't be. And the quartet of cops were looking pretty judgmental at them as well. I tell you, if you want to put your nasty parents like mine on the spot, confront them in front of the cops, because they will likely not try anything really stupid then. My mother just started crying and walked away, and my father just stood there looking like he wanted to hit me. And Dan just held his kids in defeat. Oh, and sister-in-law was off having a tantrum on my front lawn. Why am I not surprised? Soon enough, they all formed a line, handing boxes and got their stuff out of my house. Nothing had been unpacked yet, so it was all taken out pretty quickly. But while doing it, my mother kept saying it wasn't too late and I could still do it for Dan several times. What is so magical about Dan? Like, is Dan the Messiah? Like, what is happening? Each time trying to bargain more and more to try to make me change my mind. She said that Dan could pay me rent if I let them stay. And when that didn't work, she said I could move back in with them to let Dan rent my house so I wouldn't have to share the building. I told her to shut up and keep packing boxes because I don't want Dan or his family around. I didn't want his money, and I certainly don't want to have to live with him or my parents ever again after the way they had treated me when I was a kid. Making a deal with my parents would be like making a deal with the devil for me. Yup. Sister-in-law ended up having another tantrum after hearing that and threw a box down, and then she sat on the ground to have a pity party because she didn't want to go back to sharing a house with my parents. And she just sat looking angry/sad there until everyone else was finished. She didn't even want to get up when it was time to leave. Hang on. The comment I just saw in the chat, I gotta put up here. Colin, yup. Little bit. The Chaos Trade said, Dan's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Oh, gosh. Oh, okay. This is 21. They finally got everything out of the house and into the truck. So before they left, I laid into my parents one last time about all the crap they put me through growing up. And with 4 cops being right there, they couldn't do much other than just stand there and take it for once. I called them out on so many things that had happened, and even pointed out how they couldn't just do something nice for me, like letting me stay over with my camper when I was homeless and trying to get back on my feet. How they let Dan and sister-in-law ridicule me and call me a bum. Well, who's the bum now? They wanted to kick me out of my own house so Dan could stay in it free of charge. Yet when I needed a place to go, they wanted to gouge me for more than I could afford just to park my camper when they knew I was out of a job. There were more extremely judgmental stares from the cops when I said all that. So I put my parents on the spot one more time and asked them what I ever did other than being born to deserve being treated so badly. Because when I finally have a bit of success in my life, they want to snatch it away from me for their favorite child, since they'd rather I give everything to Dan and have nothing for myself. I bought the house using the money that I had earned. I owed them nothing, and I wouldn't be asking anything from them ever again because I clearly will never be anything more than a doormat or a cash cow in their eyes. Proud of you. Proud of you, OP. I got no answers from them. They just stood there like a fish out of water. So I continued ranting and asking them what in God's name made them think that they were such good parents after all of that. My father was beet red, but more from embarrassment than anger this time. And my mother was crying that she was a horrible person, and I bluntly agreed that she is a horrible person. They all are, and I bet they'll go to the bad place for it too. They were awful people, and they all knew it. But if I just called them out on stuff like this in private instead of public, they'd all get mad at me and act like I was in the wrong. They just keep up the denial for so long because of long that it became a part of who they are. My mother buried her face in my father's jacket to cry, and my father looked more defeated than I'd ever seen him. Dan and his family avoided me entirely as they finished putting everything back in the moving truck. I made sure nothing of mine was stolen. Not that I had a chance to get much furniture yet. I was lucky even to have a couch at the time. They all got back in their vehicles, and sister-in-law just stood staring at me with malice until my brother finally got her to drive the minivan home. And as soon as they were all gone, I got back online again and spilled the beans about what happened. My parents were too embarrassed to even try to defend their actions this time. And while the family was somewhat split before this incident, it was now a landslide in my favor. Good for you! Nearly all the family has sided with me after this incident, and those who haven't simply aren't siding with anybody. No matter how much my parents previously tried the "we did it for Dan" line, no one listened anymore. So any remaining familial support they had is now gone. Many in the family who expected I wouldn't side with me did, and this includes former flying monkeys. Yay! There is hope.
For some.
There is hope for some former flying monkeys. I love having hope. I guess they finally had enough. Around that time, I offered to host half the family at next Christmas Eve in my new house. My parents were not invited. I wasn't blocked on my brother and sister's profiles, surprisingly, and I saw sister-in-law had her fourth baby in early November. They are still living with my parents. I'm pretty sure they knew I was watching because sister-in-law kept making passive-aggressive posts every couple of weeks or so about not having enough space while living with my parents. Probably to see if she can still guilt me. Why do people think that that's going to work? Like, when are you going to... Like, it didn't work the millions of times you tried it before, even in front of the police, okay? Like, it's not going to happen. Perhaps they could all move into a camper in their own backyard and let Dan take over the house completely. They might get some peace then. Yeah, they could do that for Dan. Oh my gosh. Okay. Update 2. This is slide 24. Oh my gosh. I was trying to keep things in 2 posts, but I realized when compiling everything that part 2 was just too long. So I divided it into part 3. For those who commented en masse to get cameras, I will when I can afford it. I'm still in financial recovery from buying a house last year. Can you please post a Cash App or something, bro? Like, I feel like the internet should fundraise for you. Like, oh, let the internet family do it because your own family sucks. I'm still in, yeah. And as far as I know, good cameras need a decent computer to record to, and I don't have anything more than a 3-year-old laptop that still runs Windows 10. Yes, I'm aware of doorbell cams, and that will be the first kind that I get. For those who kept saying that I should have just gotten my brother and sister-in-law arrested, the only reason I didn't was because they were parents and their kids need them. And if Dan was arrested, he likely would lose his job. And without that, my family has no money, or his family has no money. And sister-in-law has an only months-old baby right now. Neither of them need to end up in jail. But you don't need jail for revenge. Police can help, yes, but I got payback without filling out a police report. Would I be this merciful again? More than likely not, and they know it. That's fair. That shows a lot of maturity and a lot of empathy, far more than they deserve. I decided to wait on making an account and posting this until after the new year in case more stuff happened, and it did. Oh no. As previous readers know, my sister-in-law was making passive-aggressive posts on social media that were obviously directed at me, especially after sister-in-law had her fourth baby in November. She was posting the same repetitive nonsense over and over again, and she just found a semi-clever way of rewording it. Sorry, give me 1 second. I had to cough, sorry. But she pretty much kept regurgitating that she was tired of living with my parents, that there isn't enough space, she needs her own house, blah, 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 blah. I know I sound dismissive, but live through what I have with these people, and you would be ready to sarcastically play tiny violins in front of them too. 100%. They're just that bad. Yes, they are. And since I waited until January to make an account, more happened just like I thought. I stated before that I invited half the family for Christmas Eve party at my house, and everyone I invited all came, even though it was a fairly long drive of around 3 to 4 hours for them, but I wanted them to come and show me their support. I was praised by them for how hard I'd worked to get a house of my own, and that they were sorry for everything I went through. I was asked why I didn't just take my camper and drive the 3 hours back to them instead of living pretty much homeless for so long. And I had to sheepishly admit that I was very attached to living here, and I had my best employment opportunities in this area. My hometown doesn't have a lot of great job opportunities in my field, if at all. And I wanted to make my own way as much as I could. An answer they overall accepted. We moved on to having a rather nice party, the best I'd been in years. Some relatives even brought CDs of great Christmas albums, and I have to say, the one that my uncle brought of Ray Charles was my favorite. He sings Christmas songs like no one else I've heard. It was a grand and happy time, and I felt like for once I could just forget my past issues and enjoy the moment. But I wouldn't be writing this if it had stayed that way. Oh my gosh, why can't you have nice things? About 2 hours into the party, you know who showed up. Why do people go where they're not wanted? I don't understand this. This is a big world. You don't have to go there. You don't have to do that. My parents, brother, and sister-in-law popped in trying to look all smiles. They didn't even knock, just walked right in my front door like they were meant to be there. I shut off the music and told them to leave immediately. They begged to stay and said they brought gifts. One of my uncles stood up and yelled at them before I got another chance to speak. Good uncle! And he said they don't deserve to be in my home or my life after the crap they tried to pull months earlier. And he was backed up by several of my other relatives. Mind you, this guy is my mother's brother, and he used to love her to pieces until he found out about the crap that went on between me and my parents. My grandmothers, my mother's parents, as old as they are, hurriedly got in between us and said that my parents, if they wanted to make amends with me, it's far too soon. And they've never been more disappointed in them than they were in the past year. Wow. They'd hidden their favoritism for my brother from prying eyes for a long time, but no one was fooled anymore. And they needed to make a serious effort to actually treat me like a son if they ever wanted to be in my life again. And they turned to Dan and sister-in-law and said they've seen some repetitive nonsense that sister-in-law keeps posting about, and they're tired of it, and to just let it go already. My house will not become their new home. Yep. I'm so proud that there are good people in this family that are backing him up. And I'm glad that he still has that. You know what I mean? Because I can't imagine if those people were not there, like how difficult this could be. Oh my goodness. Of course, sister-in-law went back into her old standard of crying and had a pity party about how she should be the one living here and not me. She plopped down on the chair to have a tantrum, to say that it wasn't fair that I got this house to myself when I have no family of my own, and she has 4 kids, and that needed more space. And she just wanted a better place to live and to feel like a real mom. It was petty of me, but I loudly pointed out that she sucks as a mother because she lets my mother do most of the parenting while she sits on her butt all day drinking, playing on her phone, and going out and spending all of Dad's money. Oh my gosh. And she has the nerve to complain about it. I even joked that I'm surprised her baby doesn't get drunk from the breast milk since she drinks so much booze. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Which I admit I went a bit too far and I got some stares. No, bro, no. I think you were entitled to have that moment. They broke into your house. You can be as angry as you want. Oh my gosh. And sister-in-law demanded to know if I was calling her a bad mom. I said the evidence speaks for itself. And if she wanted to be able to afford to move out of my parents' house someday, that she needs to put her college degree to some use, get a job, and learn to save money. And my mother already does most of the child care for my brother's kids anyway, so she'd have plenty of time after the baby gets a little older. My brother's eldest kid, who's 7 years old, ran up to start kicking and screaming and yelling at his mom. And he kept at me about how his mom said I was the bad guy that made her cry and didn't let them live here. And narcissists can raise other narcissists. This entitlement is generational. Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. All right. Slide 28 to 30. That's when my brother grabbed his son to pull him away. But all the other relatives jumped back in, and this sort of turned into a family intervention against my sister-in-law and my brother. Oh gosh, it's the Christmas intervention. Peace on earth. She was crying. Her new baby was crying. The kids were crying. Even Dan was nearly in tears from the verbal lashing he was being assaulted with. He ended up just sitting in the ottoman, and I kept the shoes in the front. He ended up just sitting on the ottoman. I keep the shoes in by the front door and looking like a complete wreck. He couldn't look anyone in the eye. He couldn't even say 2 words to me, not with a whole house filled with angry people ready to judge him if he tried to let out his inner golden child again. If they weren't there to get in his way, I bet it would have ended up as a repeat of what he tried to order when he tried to order me around to try to take my house months earlier. Sorry, I'm having trouble now. I've been reading a long time. Please forgive me. By this point, he'd been so thoroughly humiliated that his and my parents' reputation in the family was completely destroyed because the masks were all off now, and it's about time. Soon after my parents, brother, and sister-in-law all left in defeat, the party resumed, and we all started speaking of what had just happened for the rest of the evening. Since most of the adults had been drinking, everyone stayed the night in my house. Good. I even let some of them sleep in the camper. So there'd be enough space. I'll admit it also makes a good guest house. My relatives all wanted a tour of it earlier as well. They said they couldn't believe I'd been living in it for around 2 years. I got a lot of questions about it, like what the summer and winter was like, and so on. I was up earlier than everyone else Christmas morning and had a fresh pot of coffee and some ibuprofen for those spiked eggnog hangovers a few of them had. I was complimented on being a way nicer host than my parents ever were, and we all agreed to do this again next Christmas. That's so sweet. Aww. After Christmas, sister-in-law did finally stop making posts that were obvious digs at me and deleted all of the old ones as well. But shortly after the new year, she more recently made up a new post complaining about how she tried to convince my parents to get a camper like I did, so it could be set up in the backyard so Dan and his family could use the whole house as their family home. I mean, the audacity, but at the same time, I kind of feel like the parents deserve it. Welcome to what you wanted your son to do, right? So that was fine for him, but okay. Oh, well, a taste of one's own medicine is never fun because my parents turned that idea down vehemently. I hear, oh, wow, no one is going to push them out of their own home, let alone their master bedroom. The post was only up for a couple of days before sister-in-law removed it, and then she hardly posted anything since then. She loves to complain. But if a tree falls and no one is around to hear it, can it still complain? Sister-in-law, I guess, has realized there's no point in doing it when no one hears anymore, and Dan can't afford to move his family out on his salary alone anytime soon. If they ended up expecting another child in the next few years, I won't be surprised. Things have mellowed down since then, and we've even invited friends over for a poker night. I suck at poker because I can never remember a darn thing about it, but so what? We get to drink beer and eat junk food while being merry idiots. That sounds like a good time. We all loaded up on Whoppers from Burger King and just had it the best way 4 grown men can when they just want to have a good, unadulterated time and get pissed drunk. I think maybe around the summer I'll look into possibly dating someone. I'm not exactly getting younger here. Fingers crossed that it goes well. My camper just sits idle in my yard now, and I admit there were some days I went out there just to spend time in it. I did live in it for 2 years. It's like my second home. And maybe one day I'll actually get to use it for camping, like it was meant to. But I've never been camping. My parents considered it a waste of time, so it would actually be a completely new experience for me. And to be honest, I think, bro, you'd probably be really good at it because you've learned, you know? This pretty much marks the end of what happened. My parents, brother, and sister-in-law have all been staying very clear of me. In fact, they seem to have gone back to acting like I don't exist, like they did before I bought a house. Not that that bothers me at all. It's better that way. But they'll inevitably come back in some way. I know they will. I just wonder what kind of stupid thing they'll do next. If anything notable ever happens again, I'll make another post if this account is still active. Is that current? So it looks like 5 days ago.
This screenshot is from a while ago. There is a 3-part update.
Okay, producer sister has just informed me that this screen cap is from a while ago. A couple weeks ago. There is a 3-part update. The saga's not done.
Yeah.
It's not done. I can't handle this. I can't handle this. What? There's no way we have time. There's no way. Yeah.
I have not prepared it. To be honest, I haven't read it all.
Oh my gosh. Producer sister has not prepared it. She has not read it all. She just informed me because she likes to put it together and censor everything so we don't upset community guidelines, because YouTube, as I say it every single time.
I'm trying.
But there's apparently more.
When I finished getting this together, the update wasn't live yet.
Okay. When she finished putting it all together, the update wasn't live at the time. So
it was already too long.
And it was already too long. This is the longest one I think we've ever done.
It's actually a little bit shorter than Joe.
Oh wow. Okay. OP, on the off chance you ever see this, I salute you. Good for you. I hope you cut these people out of your life. Oh my goodness. I'm actually kind of in shock right now. I cannot imagine putting up with that. I just can't. King Bob, see, I told you the rest of the story will be on Monday. Called it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Let's do a poll. Who wants part 2? Yes or no? Guys, let me know who wants part 2. Oh my gosh. Kyle, I'm not trying to, in all fairness. I'm just asking. Like, I want to know. I want the numbers. I want to know. Tune in next week to hear Larry sing. I was thinking the Mr. Lunt one. Tune in next week to hear Mr. Lunt say, I grew up in New Jersey. VeggieTales jokes. They show up here. Hi, Matt, by the way. Good to see you, my spiffy friend. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, we have 47 votes currently, and we are 100%. my gosh, Melissa, thank you for the super chat. Reading aloud makes my throat hurt. In case this happens to you, I want to send you a gift for tea and throat drops. Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much, Melissa. Thankfully, one of my talents is talking. I talk a lot. I can talk a lot. I can go on for a very, very long time. But I'm not gonna lie to you, my throat does hurt, and that's part of why producer sister grabbed me the Coca-Cola. Because it's helpful. My goodness. Okay, I'm gonna stop the poll because considering how quickly these votes have gone in, and we are at a 100%, I think. So producer sister sometimes worries that you guys don't like the sagas. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, Marsha Hawes just said, producer sister, good find. This one is nuts.
It's a slow burn.
It is. It's a slow burn.
Background to
Yeah.
appreciate the story.
Yeah, producer sister just said it is a slow burn, but you needed that to be able to really like understand the story. But I do want to just say thank you so much to Melissa. Thank you for that super chat. I will take care of my throat. I will take care of my voice. Thank you very, very much for your support as always. It's great to see you here and thank you. You have halls?
I have some of my desk.
No, it's okay. I don't think anybody wants to listen to me with that in my mouth. It's just I don't think that's the type of ASMR that I'd ever want to do. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, that was an experience. I hope my dramatic reading at points was okay, but I just had many feelings. Many, many feelings. I think you all did too. But yes, Katie, we are gonna have to wait until Monday for part 5. Part 5. So we will have fun with that. And we are at about 2 hours and 20 minutes into the stream. So I am gonna start winding down because I need to rest my voice and relax a little bit. It's been a day. It's been a lot of prep work for all of this, and I'm happy that we've put on. I think we've put on a pretty good show. I can't believe how many of you guys are still here. It's a lot of fun. I love doing this, so I'm happy that you're here. Chris Barber just said, great job as always. Kim, happy to watch it live. Thank you so much. You've been a member for 2 months. Very much appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Melissa just said, can he get a side job with Audible? I'd love to do that. I would love to do voice acting or reading of any kind. I really would. I really would. It's yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. Thank you guys so much for all of the love. I'm going to give you guys a minute just for any last minute support you want to send in or any comments or questions that you have. I like to give you guys a few minutes for that. But we are going to start winding down now. OP, my heart just, I can't. So just waiting for comment to come through. Yeah, producer sister, I have a saga to read through now. Yeah, oh my goodness. This is wild. This is absolutely wild. I don't know how people... If any of you related to this story on any level, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm really glad like this wasn't written as an am I the a-hole, was it? It's just sharing a story.
It's actually in Entitled People.
In Entitled People.
Yes, that's
okay.
the subreddit.
Okay, it's in Entitled People, the subreddit, because I think the answer here of whether or not OP is an a-hole, I think we all are firmly in the OP is not the a-hole. Oh my goodness. General Scott said, I think OP and I need to share some beers over our effed up ex-families. Oh, I'm so sorry, Scott. Oh, that's awful. Oh. How much do you want to bet that family's from Jacksonville? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Alrighty. Well, I am going to wind this down. We're going to do the outro. Everybody, thank you so much for being here today. I will try to keep on top of the Britney news that's coming out, and I will, as Lewis says, we'll keep in touch, and I will talk to you guys soon. And if nothing else huge breaks, we will have a normal show on Monday. If not, if I do another stream, I can't promise that we will have a what the what. I don't want to push producer sister too hard. Producer sister has a job herself and all those types of things, so I want to be respectful for her on that. But I am so happy you all are here and that we've had fun today. I think we've had fun today. I'm going to ask, when the stream ends, please consider reloading the page and leaving a comment. It makes a massive difference for me with YouTube engagement. It really helps with the channel. It's free to do, and it means the world to me. So the ending card will go for about 10 seconds. Then the show will stop, and then you can reload the page if you so choose. Thank you to everybody who has been here today. Thank you to everybody who has watched on the replay. Much love to all of you. Thank you for being here, and I will see you all very soon. Much love.